Ryan. I was just a few weeks out of paramedic school, so I was a brand new paramedic at Chicago Fire Department. I'm going to tell you the story about my first call that we got to a man not breathing, the events that unfolded on the scene, and the outcome of his life and how it changed mine. It was a dark, cold, stormy night, and the clock struck 4:43 a.m. The red bright lights started flashing. The sirens were so loud they were going throughout the firehouse. I immediately jumped out of bed. All I heard over the speakers were Ambulance 51, please respond to a 40-year-old male not breathing. Engine 51, please respond to a 40-year-old male not breathing. I immediately jumped out of bed and ran to the ambulance. There were so many thoughts going through my head on the way to that call. Was this man alive? Was he dead? Was he just sitting there and all of a sudden did he die? I had to block all of these out because it would interfere with my job. As we arrived at the house, we grabbed all of our equipment and ran up to the door. The door was already open. I heard two voices yelling from the basement. When I went down there, I saw a young girl and a woman laying over a 40-year-old male, screaming for me to hurry. So I immediately approached the man and I checked for a pulse, and there was no pulse. I checked for any signs of breathing, and there was no adequate signs of chest rise or fall. The man in front of me was not breathing. I immediately began CPR. If you guys can think of a time where your adrenaline was like sky high, mine was like triple at that moment right there. There were so many thoughts going through my head. All I could do was pray that everything I could do in my power would make this man start breathing again. As I continued CPR, my team did the necessary procedures on the patient, and the entire time we were working up on the patient, the daughter and the wife were screaming at us, like, please help him, save him. So that was difficult because I had to block them out, and I couldn't let my emotions get involved in that. So after working the patient up, there were still no signs of life. And the man that was in front of me no longer was alive. The man who was a daughter, or who was a father and a husband, was no longer alive. The daughter and the wife slowly collapsed to the floor and started crying. It took all of me not to collapse with them and cry with them. We left the room and let them say goodbye. On our way back to the firehouse, this is where I did a lot of my reflective thinking. This was the first call I ever experienced as a paramedic where someone was dead actually in my arms. So it really put me to the test to see if this was a career that I was able to handle. And one of the biggest things was having the family there, like screaming at me, like begging me to do something when I was doing everything I could, but it was really hard for me to block out those emotions because it was my first time doing it. So I was the rookie, so I was the one that was lead, so that was very difficult. The lesson that I learned from this